Welcome to another episode of Earth Warrior 7, where we try to spend some time focused on the question of nuclear warfare. It's a subset of the electric bison. The question we're going to continue looking at is, why was there such a terrible error made to cause that girls' school in Iran to be destroyed by 3 Tomahawk missiles back on February 28th, the first day of the attacks? We're still waiting for the announcement of an investigation by the results of an investigation by Secretary Hegseth. He said it's going to be going on for a couple of months. The United Nations is waiting. Amnesty International is waiting. The international community is waiting. I'm waiting. We're all waiting, but we're not kidding ourselves. We kind of know what's going to happen already. The internal investigation shows that the Defense Intelligence Agency, which has a lot of the legacy information that the organization I worked for back in the 70s developed around targets and the bombing encyclopedia numbers and target data categories in support of the 18th Airborne Corps, the 82nd Airborne Division, and the 3rd Special Forces Group. They have all that old information, which hopefully is being updated periodically to make sure there's nobody on a target list that's shouldn't be a target. We work pretty hard to make sure that all hospitals, schools, churches, things like that were always on a no-strike list. But somehow this school, it's been a school since 2016, if not earlier, 2013, it got onto a strike list. How did that happen? Well, the returns are already in, really. What happened is information got melded together very quickly by this Palantir program called Maven Smart System. And it was melded with all kinds of other information from signals and images that come in really fast, more than what any one analyst could process, as a human. But it brought it all together, and then while the Maven Smart System is saying there was still a human in the loop, it carried that school, that's been a school for a long time, that anybody in their right mind looking at Google or anybody could see that it was a school, got carried up through the system, put out there, down through CENTCOM, to the ship that fired the Tomahawks that killed all those little kids. So, who's at fault? It's a war crime, either recklessness or complete disregard of the civilian. It's a war crime. So who's the war criminal? Do you think it's Donald Trump for deciding he wanted to do this? Do you think it's Pete Hegseth, who got rid of the office designed to avoid civilian harm because it was not warlike enough? I don't think so in either case. Do you think it was Peter Thiel, the high-profile person down in Silicon Valley who's supposed to be so smart? He's so smart that he knows in his own mind that if you get in the way of his artificial intelligence, you're the Antichrist. That's not smart. That's weird. And then, of course, his partner, Alex Karp, who used to be a left-winger, now he's a right-winger, that so much money's at stake. Do you think those guys are going to be called war criminals? Nah. So, rather than wait for this report on an investigation, I think we need to face up to the facts the same way that Congress is doing already by demanding from the Defense Department that they allow guardrails on artificial intelligence. They have to be there. That instead of saying that there's a human in the loop for 15 seconds or whatever it is to look at a target, at 1,000 targets in 24 hours, that there actually be humans in the loop that can spot something like this. And they're also demanding that if a artificial intelligence provider, a real maven, instead of somebody that's using the name, feels that there's an ethical problem that they can stop doing what's they're being told to do, which is what Anthropic has tried to do under pressure from Hegseth. Now, Anthropic's the one that's suing the Pentagon. That's good, but the law needs to be changed so that it does protect these people. And just like when Google pulled out because their people said, we're not going to do this. So you got Palantir in there doing this kind of stuff, compressing the decision cycle inhumanly, and at the same time expanding this whole thing to be able to follow private citizens in their daily activities. These guys are bad news. I don't care, they're not antichrist, they're just bad news. And they think they're smarter than the rest of us. So I ask you, if you get a chance, support the congressmen and women that are demanding guidelines on AI and demanding that AI organizations be allowed to say, I'm not doing this without getting blacklisted the way Hegseth's operating. And eventually we're going to get rid of Hegseth. We're going to get rid of the people that he likes having kisses behind as he turns around and kisses Donald Trump's behind. Remember the guy that had the bone splinters? Thanks.